Okay, face guy here. What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm bringing you do's and don'ts in home theater for newbies part 2. If you haven't seen the first part, I went through and listed about 7 different do's and don'ts for new guys coming into the hobby. Now I'm gonna list you another 6 more. A lot of you guys really like the first part, so I'm gonna do a part number 2. If you haven't seen the first part, it will be down below in the description box, so go ahead and click on that and I'll leave it in the card above. Now let's get right into it. Now there's no particular order. These are all very important, so we're not going to list them in order of importance, but we will number them to keep it organized. So let's start off with number 6, and that is do not throw away the owner's manual. Do not disregard it. Take a look at it, especially when it comes to home theater, AV receivers, TVs, electronics in general. There's a lot of features and names and numbers for different things that you may not know what they mean. And the best place to find out what they mean or what they do is the owner's manual. I can't imagine how many people don't read the owner's manual, because there's a lot of things in there that'll tell you hidden secrets. Like, for example, the AV receiver, there's so many features in a receiver nowadays that you may not know is in there. If you read the owner's manual, it'll list it all for you. There may be a format, a sound decoding, whatever it is that you may not be aware of, or you may not be sure what it means. But if you open your owner's manual, it'll tell you exactly what it means and how to set it up. So a lot of questions that you guys kind of ask me will probably honestly be in your owner's manual, either in the box it came in or online at the manufacturer's website. So do not disregard the owner's manual. It'll help you in a lot of different cases. Coming in at number 5, and I used to be guilty of this when I was younger, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are now. And that is, do not buy a TV or projector that is too big or too small for your room, or for how far they're going to be sitting from it. There's nothing worse than getting a beautiful $1,000 TV, 80-inch TV, and you sit too close to it, and now your eyes hurt, they strain, it's hard to watch, it's fatiguing. There's nothing worse than that, and vice versa. Nothing worse than having a huge room with a small TV, and it's hard to get engaged with the movie or the television show because it's just so far away and it's just so small. You really want your TV to match your home theater as far as the performance goes. So if you have a massive home theater with big sound and big subs, you want a TV with picture quality to match that, and vice versa. Make sure that everything complements each other. So don't get a TV that's too big for the room, because you're going to find yourself straining. You're going to find yourself wiping your eyes a lot, looking away. It's not something that's going to be fun for you, and vice versa. You don't want it too small of a TV, because you're going to be kind of squint to look at it. You're going to be sitting really close to it to make up for how small it is. It's just not fun. So make sure when you're out there buying projectors and screens, you're buying TVs, make sure it fits the room. Do some measurements. There's some internet help out there that can help you find the right size TV for sure. All right, coming in at number 4 is do not skip out on acoustic treatment. And you don't have to go out and buy really expensive panels and foam wedges and bass traps and diffusers. You don't need to do that necessarily unless you're super serious. A simple rug on a bare floor, a simple curtain on a bare window, some paintings and some bookshelves to break up some of that bare wall will definitely help your sound, especially if you're in a room that has wooden floors and vaulted high ceilings. A whole bunch of echo in your room can make or break a system. Imagine listening to a song and it just sounds, it just sounds terrible because it's just fluttering in the air. There's so much echo and reverb that it makes the song not even enjoyable. Same thing with movies. You want things to be impactful and tight and accurate, and you can't get that if you don't have enough acoustic treatment. So you don't have to go crazy. No need to spend a lot of money if you don't want to, but get a rug if you have a bare floor. Get a painting or two to add decoration to the room, but also some acoustic treatment, and you can really make a difference in your sound. Especially if you're somebody who doesn't like the way their system sounds right now, take a look at the room and see if it can be treated, because that makes a huge difference in your sound as well. You can put a really good speaker in an untreated room and it sounds terrible. You can put a $15,000 pair of speakers in a room that's not treated and it will sound terrible. So make sure that you take time to treat your room, because that is also a part of the overall home theater, the overall instrument. Make sure your room is tidy, make sure that you have some acoustic treatment, and that'll really help your sound. Number 3 on my list of don'ts for the newbies out there is don't have a lot of remotes laying around. Grab a universal remote and control everything with it. Even an app on your phone or tablet will do the trick. There's nothing worse than sitting and watching a movie and you have to use one remote to pause the DVD player, one remote to turn up the volume, one remote to change the input, one remote to turn on the projector. There's a lot of different remotes in your possession you have to fiddle with, and a lot of remotes aren't backlit or anything like that, so they're hard to use in the dark. Try to find a universal remote. It'll make a world of difference. They can control almost everything. Your DVD player, your projector, your Blu-ray, whatever you're using. I have a Logitech home remote that I got a while back, and it controls everything. My projector, my home system, my laptop, my Xbox, my computer, it controls absolutely everything. So I have one rechargeable remote that I can just press a button and change this and change this and change this. It even controls my Amazon Fire TV and some other things like that. So find yourself a good remote that's reliable, that has a rechargeable battery, and it can control a lot of things, because that will allow you to get rid of those remotes and only have one. And usually universal remotes have a screen or some kind of backlit LCD screen so that you can see menus and know what you're doing in the dark. It's really nice to have, and I will never go back to having a standard remote for everything. One remote, program it to everything, and you are good to go. Number 2 on my list, and this is something that a lot of people don't talk about or may not be aware of, and that is do not buy speaker wire that's too thin. And how do you know what's too thin? Well, your speakers have a rating on the back or on the website. It'll tell you what gauge of speaker wire, meaning what size speaker wire can fit into that speaker. Typically in a home theater, you want 16 gauge wire. That's pretty average. Most people have 16 gauge wire for their systems. But the longer your speaker wire is extended throughout the room, or the more power you need to send through that wire, the thicker the gauge. I currently have 12 gauge wire in my home theater. All my speakers can handle 12 gauge or even more, and I won't go less than that. The thicker the wire, the more power that can travel through wire from the amplifier to your speakers. And especially when you get longer strands of wire, you need that thicker wire, because as that electricity, as that power travels through that wire, it starts to dissipate and dissipate. So you're not getting all the wattage that you could if the wire was thicker, especially with longer strands. So take a look at your wire. That might be a key upgrade. You may not be able to hear an audible difference in the sound, but your speakers will thank you internally, giving them all the juice that they can get. So don't starve your speakers of power if you don't have to. Make sure that your speaker wire is at least 16 gauge. If you have a big room and you're running long strands over 10 or 15 feet, look into some 12 gauge or 10 gauge. And then if you can, it's a little more expensive, but look for OFC wire. That is oxygen-free copper. Oxygen-free copper is more efficient on transferring power from one end of the wire to the other, and it can handle a higher power load. You can power through more power through that wire compared to standard copper clad. So take a look at your wiring and make sure that's not something you can upgrade. All right, I have one more for you, but before we tell you what that is, I need you to go to the comment section down below and leave me a list of things for the newbies. Let them know some other advice and some other tips that you guys think. What should you not do in your home theater? What should you do in your home theater? Leave me some comments down below that I missed in this video, and let's help out all the new guys to the hobby. But let's get right into the last one. Number 1 is do not plug any of your electronics directly into the wall. And why do I say this? I am a heavy believer in protecting your investment. Every single piece of electronic in my home has a surge protector. It's on a surge protector, because you just don't know when you're going to get a wave of dirty power, or a storm's going to come by and send a surge through your home. You do not want to come to a blown electronic. I would hate for any of my highly expensive electronics to be blown from a storm or from a random power surge that came through my outlets. So I highly recommend investing in a power surge so that you can invest to protect your investment. It's super important. I would recommend getting a power conditioner, if anything, because not only does a power conditioner typically act as a surge protector, it cleans the power coming through your wall to your system, so you don't get any kind of hiss, any kind of dirty noises like that. It's very clean power from the wall to your electronics. It just adds longevity, makes everything sound cleaner, work more efficiently. So I highly recommend getting a power conditioner. nonetheless, if anything at all, get a surge protector and plug up everything, not just your home theater, but if you have a laptop and you have a charger, plug it up to there. If you have a desktop system, plug it up to there. I even have all my lamps and stuff. Everything's just plugged up. My television, my projector, it's all on a surge protector so that I can help myself if I ever need it. And even though I'm on a surge protector, I still unplug all my stuff from the wall whenever the storm comes. You're not 100% protected, but you're close. But anytime a storm comes through, I always unplug everything just to be safe. But if you can't, at least get a surge protector for all of your gear. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for the 6 do's and don'ts for home theater for the newbies out there. Please leave me a comment down below and list a few more that I didn't mention that you think is good advice for those out there. I promise you they will absolutely value your opinions. So leave me a comment down below, flick that like button, and subscribe if you are not already. We will see you guys in the next video. K-Pace Guy out. Peace.